Hello everybody, are you ready for the ad? Are you ready for it? First of all, happy Monday to everyone. If you have an office job, I'm sure you're sick of hearing happy Monday. I know I was, but anyway, so this is Gunforge. This is my first commercial release as a full-time indie developer. So if you like what you see on this channel, this is a great way to support me. You'll notice that I don't have YouTube memberships or Patreon or anything like that. And it's because my preferred way of allowing you to support me or letting you support me is you can buy my stuff, my actual products. You get something out of it too, which is like a game or a course. So it's a great way to support me. Also, it's a relatively fun game. So definitely check that out if you're interested in 2D roguelite shooters, that is. And I also have, like I mentioned, my Udemy courses. This is a great resource if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. What's nice about this course, if I can say so, is that typical tutorials, they just like give you the correct code and you don't really see what the process of building a game is like. With this course, you go from empty project to finished publishable game and all the steps in between. So we build things block by block, brick by brick. We go back and refactor certain things. We establish composition-based architecture as the game gets more complex. So if that's something that you're interested in, check out my courses. All of my courses do that kind of style where we do a complete game. So I've got a GDScript course and a C# course, and there's an online multiplayer course, cooperative multiplayer course coming in very soon as well. My cat has decided to start screaming now. Very nice. So yeah, check those things out. They're linked in the description below, and also be on the lookout for the next code review video. I think I'm going to try to have that published by Saturday morning for you. So if you've been enjoying the code review series, next one should be coming up soon. All right, anyway, ads out of the way. Hello, eDocs, welcome. Kenny, as good to see you again, welcome. I think the enchant screen has officially taken longer than the map now. Yes. In fairness, though, I think that's mostly because of my art skills or lack thereof. And it took forever. If I was more skilled as a pixel artist, that art that I drew would have taken like an hour and a half, maybe. Instead, it took like 5 hours, but it's okay. Welcome back to the stream, Adam. Hello, iCode stuff. Good to see you again. Wet Penguin, we out here, we outside. I'm not outside, but yeah. I'm a 12 years old kid. Uh-oh, don't say that. You have to be 13 to use YouTube. I'm gonna contact the authorities. I'm just kidding. That might not actually be true anymore. I don't know. Anyway, a kid learned Unity for a year, and yesterday I tried Godot, and I'm definitely going to switch. Any advice? No, I don't have any advice. I mean, look, I think if you are actually 12 years old, what I would say is that just have some patience with yourself. You're going to see developers online who are producing really good games, and you're going to be tempted to compare that to your own games and be like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I so bad at this? But what you have to understand, especially being so young, is that everyone started there. So you're going to struggle, you're going to hit walls, there are going to be things that you don't understand, and you're probably not going to produce very good games at first. But that's the story of how everyone starts. The difference between how everyone starts and the people that get really good get really good at game development are the people who stick with it. So have some patience with yourself, and just know that any struggles you encounter have been encountered by everyone who wanted to learn game development. So that would be my advice for you. Godot advice specifically, just look up some YouTube tutorials, go to GD Quest stuff. Heartbeast has great stuff as well. I've got some tutorial content as well, so yeah. Rookie Tookie, hello, welcome back. Good morning, Neozoid. Angry Dude is a masterpiece in my book. Thank you, Bellato. Good morning, Ignawesome, and good morning, Bellato. My advice is keep going. Yes, I started at 32. You got 20 years of advantage. Probably, yeah. Hello, Harsh. Welcome. Should the kid use C# and Godot? I think yes. I don't know. Maybe not. Good morning, Brian. Welcome. Okay, so let's see. What am I doing? Oh, enchant screen. Is the cat here? Enchant container. Bam! This is the one who is screaming. What are you looking at? So serious. What are you looking at? Anyway. I actually don't remember where this got left off here. Naked Cat, yes indeed. He's named Azir after my main in League of Legends. Right, buddy? So, let's see. Oh yeah, so we were fixing some issues with the cards. Those splashes are not good. Let me fix that. Splash particles. What is not good about them? I think what needs to happen is this needs to look more violent. So let's do an initial velocity of 150 and a max of 400. That's going to send them flying. But then I'm going to take this gravity and bump it up quite a bit. And then maybe I'll turn the lifetime down. And then in here, we'll just extend that a little bit. And turn down the particle count as well. And let's make them a little bit bigger as a max size. Actually, let's turn down that minimum velocity to 100. That's too much. Let's see how that looks. 5 hours left of the jam, crunch time, so I'm gonna lurk. Absolutely. Good luck, iCode stuff. Gorgeous kitty, thank you. Firecat, yes. How much have you played League? Too much, too much. So I'll give you, hold on. Basically my entire life from like sophomore year in high school until senior year in college was playing as much League of Legends as I possibly could. So yeah. Way too much, way too much. I remember me and my best friend had the same exact classes in high school for like 3 years in a row. And so we were in the same last period class and we would just make a bolt for the doors and drive home as quick as possible so we could boot up League of Legends. And then we'd just play that until like early morning hours. And then we'd go to bed and go back to school in the morning and do it all over again. Water splashes differently when the thing died back into water. Yeah, I'm going to need to do that. Did I do the pixel art myself? Yes. The only thing I didn't do is the color palette, which I took from low spec. So, but all of the art in terms of the drawing is mine. Woo, yes. All right. So those splashes are looking okay, I think. You know what this needs, actually? I know exactly what this needs. There needs to be some depth here as well. Can I... Oh, I can't burst both of those at the same time? Are you kidding me, Godot? Splash particles background. Splash particles background dot restart. Do you watch League esports? No, I actually never got into watching the esports at all. Thank you, I have too many issues to fix. Yeah, you'd be surprised at how much you can get done in 5 hours, though. I've definitely been in situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no clue if I'm going to be able to do all this work in the next 5 hours. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like done and can't think of anything else to do. And I'm like, oh, that, yeah. 5 hours is actually a lot of time, so I actually don't know if those background particles made a difference. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to reduce the spread a little bit so they go more vertical. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to need, I don't know. I think what's the problem here too is that I think it would look better if these particles were outlined. But let me just do this first. Splash particles. Are these all messed up? Oh, these are all like messed up. Hold on. Okay. How long have you made pixel art? I like your style a lot. Thank you. Really, it's only been a couple years at this point of like dedicated pixel art stuff. I dabbled in it. Actually, if you look at the old Gunforged devlogs before the game became what it ultimately was, you can kind of see the development of my pixel art. It was really bad, and then it slowly got better over time. But yeah, it's really just been like a couple of years. So not too long. But thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, well, I'm just going to call those particles good for now. There needs to be better particles when they retract. So let's do that real quick. Retract particles. Let's make this unique so we're not messing that up. Explosiveness 0.4. Lifetime. Okay, and then we can turn this tighter spread. A lower max velocity. Maybe a larger lifetime as well. Lower gravity. Oops. Let's try that. So we got the retract particles. Those do not need to be unique. Node private GPU particles 2D retract particles. Hello, Plows 537. Welcome. Good to see you. Retract particles. So where is this going to be played? Play in tween.set parallel. I actually don't. Why am I doing this? Oh, I don't know why I did this. I don't even need to do any of that. This does... Oh, because there's a delay. Right. Okay, yes. So, tween callback, callable.from, retract particles.restart, set delay. Delay? I hope you can't hear the lawnmower that's going on right outside my window. The filtering seems to be turning it out, but I don't know if when I'm talking you can hear it. Play out. All right, let's see what that does. Good morning, Christopher. Always good to see you. Welcome back. I can code in C#, but some people say that GDScript is better in Godot. What's your experience with C# and Godot? My experience is fine with C#. So I think if you are comfortable with C#, you can absolutely use it, but you may have an easier time learning Godot if you stick with GDScript, at least initially. What traditional C# concepts help the most in your game dev journey? Polymorphism. Especially when you're working with Godot, which is basically just like a pure object-oriented language or setup, basically. Polymorphism, and then of course the traditional like patterns. You can't really use interfaces and abstract classes in Godot, so that's weird, but yeah, polymorphism. I'll go with that. Final answer. But that's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to do more thinking to come up with a better answer for that. Does Godot allow randomizing the particle setting through script, like the speed and size? Yes, you can change the parameters of the particle material. I try not to do that generally because it's just a huge hassle. Typically, I'll just create a new particle node for particles that need slightly different parameters. But you can change the parameters of the material, yes. Hello, Artem. Welcome back. Oh, that looks kind of good, actually. Maybe I'll turn the lifetime on that down, or no, retract particles. Let's turn this down to 15. Yeah, let's turn the lifetime down a little bit. Okay. What do you do in your spare time outside of game dev to de-stress? Well, I've been playing Night Rain, Elden Ring Night Rain with my friends lately. That's been a lot of fun. I know that game has mixed reviews, and I understand the mixed reviews of that game because it's not exactly a Souls game, but if you treat it as its like own thing, it's different. I would say that it's actually one of the more how would I say this? It's one of the more, I don't want to use the word revolutionary, that's too strong, but it's one of the more unique takes on like a roguelike formula that I've seen. Like there's a lot of really interesting game design decisions that they made in that game, but that's a little bit of a tangent. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that recently. I actually almost played a run this morning, but I decided to edit course videos instead. I literally booted up Night Rain and I was like, I should probably actually do some work. So that's what I did. Have you got any experience with traditional roguelike dev? No, I don't. I assume you're referring to like the ASCII or ASCII-ish kind of turn-based, create big worlds and whatnot. Yeah, no, I just do these kind of like roguelites kind of games. I think that looks fine. I think that looks fine. Okay, so the last thing to figure out now is when you actually select an enchant. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this too. Game camera.shake 0.4. We're going to add a little bit of screen shake when the particles come out, or when the tentacles come out, rather. We'll see how that goes. Night Rain runs are kind of samey, which they add more variety, but it's still very fun. Yeah, I think I understand that complaint. I think that they kind of get away with it, though, because the combat is just so fun. Like the Souls combat. So if you're the kind of person that just likes to run around in Souls games just so you can go and like smack stuff, even though Night Rain is very samey, you get to do that every time, you know? And so the combat is doing a lot of work carrying the game for sure. Certainly the game could only be helped with more randomization and variety. But the other thing too is like I've noticed that a lot of the variety, you don't get a lot of the variety until you put like quite a bit of time into the game. Like once you start collecting the relics and once you beat the first couple of bosses, that's when the game starts. I didn't even get a legendary weapon in that game until like, I don't know, until I was like 10 hours in. And so it's like a lot of the interesting stuff that can happen doesn't happen until you put a decent amount of time into it, which again is out of step for a roguelike, right? So it's almost like they're expecting you to put in the same amount of time as you would into a normal Souls game, but it's a roguelike formula. So you might go in expecting like a roguelike level of progression where you start seeing variety immediately, but that doesn't seem to be the case in Night Rain, which is interesting. Did I find solo runs fun? I have not really tried a solo run. I'm gonna probably try one with the recent buffs that they just patched in. That looks great. I don't know if you can really tell the screen shake is going on there, but... All right, so now we need an animation for you to actually select one of these things. One of the tentacles for the enchant. So work on tentacle particles. What do I want to do here? I just had an idea for something that I want to do. I just don't know if it's going to be wise to do that. -2, 5, and 3. -2, 5, and 3. So if I do -6, 10, -20. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lerp all those things. Speed, wave, multiplier, wave, amplitude. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. Shader wave multiplier. Oh, I forgot the type. Read-only string name. Amplitude. And then, what was it? Speed? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the wiggle of the tentacle when you click on it. Tween.set parallel tween property. Let's do this. Var initial speed is equal to tentacle.material.get tentacle.material. So we'll do material.get shader parameter. Shader speed. We'll do initial amplitude, shader wave amplitude, and then initial multiplier. So we're going to tween the property of the material. We're going to tween the initial speed. We're going to do initial... Let's just do 20. We'll just do a hard-coded 20 in here. Double duration, 1 second. Oh, this needs to be get as a float. Are you kidding me? Is this a variant? Yeah, so I can do... Oops. As float. Nope. I think that will work. Oh. Shader speed. There we go. What in the heck? What did I do wrong? Oh. Oh, wait, I'm doing this all wrong. So this needs to go to initial speed dot from 20. This needs to go to initial amplitude from... What did I do? Like 10? Hold on a second. (2010) and 5. Let's do that. 2010 and 5. Shader multiplier to initial multiplier dot from 5. Tween property tentacle dot yeah, let's do a scale 1 times, let's just do new vector 2. Actually, let's do vector 2.1 dot from new vector 2. Let's do 0.75 in the x and 1.25 in the y. Ease type out back. I have no clue if this is going to work, but let's see. On tentacle clicked. If I is not equal to index, tentacles I dot play out, else tentacles I dot play selected, tween dot finished plus equals play out. All right, let's see what happens. So basically what I'm expecting to happen here is I will click the tentacle, the other tentacles will go away, this tentacle will writhe a little bit and just generally play an animation, and then it will go away. So let's see if it works. Ooh. That did not work. Let's just try doing one shader property at first. And we'll see what happens. How am I doing? I'm doing well, thank you. Any reason you're using Pascal case for method names? That is the sort of default recommended C# style. Pascal case for method names and field names, I think. Why is that not working? Oh, so as the speed changes, it jitters. Okay. So maybe I can't change the speed. So let's try the other ones then. They got 2 variations of each boss run, I think. Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. That is super juicy. Thank you. Hello, A the Ant. How you doing? Welcome back. Hello, Craig. I've been VOD lurking again due to time constraints, but I must say the Tentacle art is top notch. You've excelled yourself there. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. How do you keep yourself from getting overwhelmed? I find myself totally slumped because I feel like I have to plan everything carefully, making sure it's all scalable and modular. Yeah, I think the answer to this is you just have to be comfortable with doing things wrong or breaking things. I think that you can get, and I've felt this too, you can get into sort of paralysis where you're like, what if I don't want it to be this way? Or what if I'm doing it this way and it's like not gonna work for my purposes? But at the end of the day, what you need to do is you just need to like be okay with just getting something done and then refining it over time. So you kind of have to, I mean, you should still make an educated decision on like what you need to do. But yeah, you just got to be willing to just jump in and deal with the imperfections that come up. That would be my advice anyway. This is not working the way that I wanted it to work. How many more streams on this? Approximately, I know you're going to say however long it takes. Well, I'm hoping to have it done at the end of this stream. But yes, the answer is however long it takes. But yeah, trust me, I want it to be done too. If I was working on this game off stream, it would have been done by now. But like I said, I can only really work on this game during the streams because I'm doing course content production off stream. I don't know if this is working the right way. I'm currently at school, but I don't have any work. That's the best, isn't it? I like that, thank you. You're welcome, Hyro. Hello, Zane. Also, question, when you have a new game idea, how do you decide what to prototype first? Like in terms of the mechanics? Hold on, give me 1 second. When do you have a new game idea, how do you decide what to prototype first? Well, I think there's usually just like a central mechanic to any game idea, right? So I think you just prototype that first. I think I just prototyped the combat first in this game, the auto battler stuff. That is not working at all. Oh wait, did I reverse those on accident? Maybe I did. Is the multiplayer co-op course? Yeah, that's the thing I'm working on. Are the particles decided? I kind of dislike it. Well, I wouldn't say they're decided. You got to make up your mind, Kenny, as do you want me to spend a bunch of time on this screen, or do you want me to get it done? If you want me to redo the particles, I can spend the next 3 streams fiddling with the particles. Was my question that bad? Well, which question? Oh, no, no. Okay, that's working. Property tuner.from sets the initial value. Did you mean to reverse the values? No, I don't think so, because they're going to, so they're being set to extreme versions of their value, and then they are they're going back to the initial value. So yeah, the from is the initial. So I guess it's kind of confusing with the initial values here. The initial is like what the default value should be. I guess they should be called default, but these are all 0 though. That's crazy. That might be the problem. Why are those all 0? Oh, maybe I can't do it as a float. Oh, maybe these have to be doubles. I wonder if that's the issue. Or maybe that .as cast doesn't work. That would explain a lot, actually. Yeah, that cast is not working. So let's try this then. We'll do I don't know, explicit cast or whatever. That might be why it's looking weird. First it's the graves and now it's the particle. It's okay. Trust me, like, I'm not looking at this game and being like, oh, all of these things are the greatest thing ever. There are so many things in this game that I want to redo or spend more time on. But again, I'm trying to work toward having a playable prototype for everyone. Why is that still 0? Is this get shader parameter not working? I wonder if this prefix can't be here. Let me try this instead. Let's try just removing the shader parameter prefix. That might be it. I might just be using the wrong name. Have you thought of a name for the game? I have, yes. I just don't want to settle on it just yet. I only asked the question because I have a base game idea, but I'm getting stuck figuring out what to start on. Try working on the main mechanic first. Yeah, I would say just identify what is the mechanic that your game sort of hinges around. There we go, now it's working. What is the mechanic that your game hinges around? And then, yeah, get that working. So obviously if you're making a platformer, probably the first thing that you should do is get the platformer movement in place. You know what I mean? Now, is this speed gonna be jittery again? Probably. That's terrible. Okay. Yeah, speed is not gonna work. So, yeah. Let's just bump up the amplitude then. Well, I'll probably add some easings. Set ease. I used to have the easings good in my mind. Ease out. I want ease out what? Ease in cubic? Ease type dot in dot set transition between that transition type dot cubic. Okay. That does not look good. How am I going to fix this? It doesn't look right if I can't change the speed. I wonder what happens if I just do... Let me just try this. Maybe instead of tweening, try snapping immediately to the desired speed. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying right now. Let's see. Ooh, that's an interesting map. Ooh, wait a minute. That actually worked. Wait a minute. So let's do this then. These are way too long. So it looks like the speed, I can just snap immediately to that speed, and because the wave amplitude and stuff is going down, it looks like the speed decelerates as well. So maybe that'll work. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. So I think the wave amplitude maybe is too big. And also we can probably turn this down to 0.75 now. Okay, we're almost there. Let's see. What's that website you checked for tweening for? It looks super helpful. It's easings.net. Easings.net. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I actually like that quite a bit. So I do this. Boom. All right, so the last thing to figure out, we'll call that good for now. Oh, why is he stuck? Why is I stuck? One thing I want to change real quick is this interval. Let's just do this. Var delay is equal to 0. Delay. So the problem is, depending on which tentacle you click, there would be an extra delay because it's based on the index. But now it's going to be based on the other two, so it's going to... Nice. Fade group component play fade highlight. Well, I don't know what to do here. Peak. That animation looks good. I'm glad you like it, yeah. Gotta go for now. Have a good time coding. Thank you, A the Ant. Good to see you as always. And hope to see you in the next one. What kind of game is this? Looks cool. It's a collectible card game, grid inventory management auto battler, where you can alchemize cards, which means that you get to combine the abilities of multiple different cards into a single card. And it's got a medieval science necromancy / alchemy theme. So if you've played games like the Bazaar or Backpack Heroes, it's basically that kind of combat, but in a single player roguelike wrapper, essentially. All right, the last thing to do here now is to figure out a better way of showing which enchants are available, because I think people said that these are not really that noticeable in terms of their clickability, and I agree with that. So these need to be more clear that you can click on these. And I don't exactly know how I'm going to do that. So if anyone has any suggestions, I'm all ears. It would be nice to have some kind of effect for that card as well. Let's see. What happens if I do this? Hold on a second. I'm just curious to see. So that's kind of looking okay. Let's do this. Public, void, play, fade, highlight. Might be a bit of a long way, but what is your hopes for Godot 5? That's a good question. I don't know. Godot 5. What would I want to see in Godot here? I think the canvas groups are a little bit wonky. I would love to see a better feature like Game Maker has, which is surfaces. That's been like my main issue, is like getting canvas groups to work the way that you want. And what else? There was actually one thing that I was just thinking of the other day. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I wish I had a better answer. What? Oh, I forgot to call play fade highlight here. I wish I had a better answer for that. I don't, I'm sorry. Maybe a bounce on the tentacles? Maybe have the effect show even without hovering. Tentacle should rise up and smack the item. Yeah, that would be fun. But I just don't have a nice way of doing that. Because the tentacles are animated with a shader, so they're just a texture. Why is his eyes closed sometimes? I don't understand that. Hello, Aniki, welcome back. There's a bunch of quality of life features that would be nice for Godot, but I don't know they require a whole new version. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of things that I would love to see, but Godot 5 implies like some kind of major rewrite or major functionality changes. I know what I would love. More built-in multiplayer stuff. So like one of the common things you'd want to do in multiplayer is have client-side prediction and rollback, right? And I think Godot moved in the right direction with its high-level multiplayer nodes like the multiplayer spawner and the multiplayer synchronizer. But, you know, outside of very simple games or like asynchronous games, it's kind of really hard to build a real-time game around those things. There's all kinds of problems with them. And so I would love to see like a bigger pass at multiplayer. Just make it as easy as possible for people to build multiplayer games in Godot using the high-level multiplayer API. So things like built-in network rollback that you can use very easily just through the API would be amazing. There are some weirdness about how the values are synchronized. Like you basically have to guarantee that the scene structure is the same between all the clients and the server, because the way that properties are synchronized through the multiplayer spawner and the multiplayer synchronizer, it expects the scene tree to be exactly the same. So that makes it really difficult to do something like join a lobby and be in like a lobby outside of the game while other players are in the game, right? So you could imagine a situation where you connect to, like, you join a party or whatever, and they're already in the game and they're playing, but you need to go to like a character loadout screen or whatever and select your character first and then connect, right? And the problem is you can't really connect to the server, the host, while you're in that screen, because then the host is going to try to synchronize a bunch of values in the game when you're not in the same scene. So you'd almost need to do like a multi-step, like you either need to like somehow break up that process so you're not actually connected to the server before you go into the same scene as the rest of the players, or you basically have to write your own like synchronization code. Now I think you could probably, there are visibility settings on the multiplayer spawner. Let's see. No, there aren't visibility settings on here, but maybe the multiplayer synchronizer. Yeah, so the multiplayer synchronizer, you could get away with it because you can basically say, don't synchronize properties to a certain client or a certain peer. So you'd be able to get away with it with the multiplayer synchronizer, but the multiplayer spawner does not have any such visibility settings. So this multiplayer spawner, if you're using it, would try to replicate nodes over the network to a player or a peer that is potentially not in the same scene as the rest of the players, and that would break. So anyway, that's anyway, yeah, a more deep pass on multiplayer would be great. Animated control nodes. Yes, animated control nodes. Yep, absolutely. What's next after the enchant screen? That's a good question. We're not done quite yet. We need to figure out what to do about this enchant selection here. I'd like to see sub windows so I can open multiple scripts side by side like VS Code. Godot moves all the feature requests that break compatibility to a 5.0 milestone. Yeah, that sounds right. Why do you discard the multiplayer game you were developing? It was just going to be too difficult. That's it. I need to release a game before the end of the year. And I don't think I was on track to do that with the multiplayer game. Biggest thing keeping me from going Godot route is I need browser deployment from C#. I'm not doing GDScript. Yeah, but that doesn't have to be a 5.0 thing, right? Hello, Ferezi. Welcome. Good to see you. What's that thing you're wearing on your right hand? Oh, it's just a wrist brace. I don't really need it, but it just helps reduce the wear and tear on your tendons if you're sitting at the computer all day. Any new tutorials you are thinking of putting out? Well, I've got another code review video I'm going to be doing soon, but specific tutorials outside of the course, no, not at the moment. Hello, Alient, welcome back. You forgot I had lunch and the next period's a free one. Awesome, well, welcome back. Have there been like good multiplayer games made with Godot? Isn't Backpack Battles made with Godot? It's like an asynchronous multiplayer game. Good practice on the wristband. I've had wrist pain for over 5 years. Yeah, so like, you know, I sit at the computer all day and I type and I use the mouse, but I also play guitar. And so I just like, there's a lot of wear and tear being put on my wrist. And surprisingly, like the wrist brace does help because it just kind of like compresses the tendons, prevents them from twanging around too much. Because I guess that's the thing that drives up the inflammation is when they're moving around a lot and getting stretched a lot and like twanging around a lot. So if you just like compress them, if you apply pressure to them, it kind of limits their range of movement, which also limits the sort of inflammation that you get from using them a lot. So I definitely recommend it. It's there. You can get a cheap one on Amazon. It's not terribly uncomfortable, and it saves you some wrist pain, especially if you're like a chronic computer user like I am. Oblin Party may or may not have been my own game. Awesome. Well, everyone check out Oblin Party if you're interested in a Godot multiplayer game. Welcome, Bob Rober. I checked the discussions about animated controls and they weren't very productive. Last comments are from a year ago. Yeah, I wish they would put some effort into that. Backpack Battles is made in Godot. Cassette Piece does have multiplayer. Oh, interesting. The code review videos are actually great. Good, I'm glad you like them. I like making them. How long have I been playing guitar? Since I was 14. But I'm not that good of a guitar player. I'm not like a shred god or anything, but I can hold my own. All right, so yeah, so here's the deal. I'm going to commit what I have because that's looking all right. I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. And when I come back, we're going to figure out what to do with the tentacles here and how to make them more obviously clickable. And we'll think about it for a little bit. I'm kind of tempted to just not do anything with respect to that. I'm hoping that the appearance of the tentacles after you place a card will indicate that you can select one of them. But yeah, we'll have to see. So we'll try that. But I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we'll continue on. All right, I'm back. Hello, Dragon Apple. Always good to see you. Welcome. Important question: humbuckers or single coil pickups? Well, so I have a Fender Stratocaster which has the single coil pickups. So, but I never play that. My two guitars that I have immediately accessible to me both have the same EMG humbucker pickups in them. So I guess I would have to go with humbuckers. But I'm not like a gearhead. I don't really know that much about all the amps and stuff. I just use the little, I'm sure you've heard of it, the Spark practice amp. That's what I just used to play to do my playing. I do not speak Spanish. I'm sorry, Aniki. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm kind of tempted to just fix the display of these. Of this texture. Or fix the display of this text. And then, and just call it good. Sorry. 1 second. Why does this seem so off kilter? Let me do this. I'm gonna move this down actually a little bit more. See what this does. Sorry, I gotta send somebody something. Oh, wait, I did that wrong. That's too low. It looks off kilter here. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. Okay. Dab. Why not both? Oh, I see. I got you. Okay, okay. Regarding the tentacles, why not add a shake when you drop the item and then shake intermittently every 2 seconds or something? Oh, when there's an item in there. I see. I don't know. That's a good thought. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But it is a good thought. To like draw the player's attention to the fact that they're clickable. I'm assuming that's what you mean. I should try to submit a code to once my jam game reaches MVP stage. Yeah. Submit your games. I actually have a lot of games. Let me check actually really quick. I have 29 responses. And I've only done 3 of them. So yeah. I'm definitely, like, if I do a code review video every 2 weeks, that's like a year of content right there. If I stopped accepting responses. Now, truthfully, I'm not going to be covering every one. I've already opened up some of the projects and been like, I don't really see a whole lot here that I can offer like interesting commentary on. So I'm not going to say which projects those are, but yeah, so I wouldn't cover all of them anyway. But yeah, definitely submit it because it gives me, a lot of options to choose from. Indicated to the player who might just be waiting for something to happen. Shakes are useful for catching attention. Yeah. I've submitted one of my games. Awesome. Yes, submit your games. Really educational, yeah. So what do you mean shake? Like just like a vibration, like back and forth, or do like the kind of similar shake where when I click the tentacle and it like speeds up? Like that. I'll submit my game. It has several issues. Perfect. The more issues, the merrier. I still am like, I'm weird about this. I don't understand. This just looks odd to me. This is the icon that I'm using for enchantments. You know what I might do, actually? I think what's weird about it is... Here's what I'll do. Move the texture rect under the description. Yeah. Let's... Is that left aligned? Maybe that will look better. Oh wait, can I center this? I think I tried centering it before and it didn't look that great. Yeah, it's the lack of symmetry. This one looks okay. That looks great. This looks bad because I think the texture is not centered. And the same with this one. Also, it overlaps on top of the other tentacle. The other thing I could do is I could put the text like up here in a central location. So as I hover over that, it shows the text up there. But that feels kind of weird to me too. How to animate your tentacles via shader? So basically it's just a UV manipulation. That's basically all that it is. So if you imagine a sine wave and you offset the UV based on the value of that sine wave, then you get a wave. And you can, the nice thing about sine waves is you can add sine waves with different frequencies and amplitudes together, and you get a more complex wave that looks less uniform. So that's a trick that you can use in game development quite often, is you take just a bunch of sine waves with different parameters, add them all together, and you get a wave that doesn't actually look like a wave. It looks more like just a random squiggly line. What if there's a way to fit the symbol into the text, kind of like a bullet point? Well, yes, that's one thing about Godot, is like it's not easy to do that kind of thing either. Now, what I could do is I could cheat it a little bit, and I could do this. I could move this inward, and then I could force this label to have a number of spaces at the beginning. But then it wraps the text like that, which is kind of weird to me. See, the problem is, like, yeah, if it was a bullet point, you'd want this next line of text to also be aligned with that, which is kind of why having the having this outside of here, that kind of solves that issue. But then it can't be factored in as part of the centering calculation because it's not part of the label here that's in the description container. So it's like, this kind of thing is very difficult to do with Godot, actually. I try putting the icon on top, like centered top. Hold on, I'm going to try something. This is not going to look good, but I just want to see. I wonder if I should just remove the icon. Remove the icon and center this. Adds whatever to the thing. The text still looks off-center here because the texture is a little bit wonky. So, yeah. Yeah. Putting the text in the center. So I was thinking about putting the text up here instead. How do we feel about that? I mean, I might as well experiment with that. When the tentacles go down, have a splash particles go higher and a bit narrower, kind of like when you drop a ball or something in the water and it plops. Okay, yeah, we can do that. On top of the text and center text for symmetry. I hear all of your suggestions. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do it live. I'm going to take this description container and this description label here. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to put it in here. I'm just going to see what this does. It's probably not going to work that well, but this is all part of the experimentation. Public delegate void hover entered event handler. I have to use that. I ran into this issue before. It was like driving me mad. I had accidentally shadowed the mouse entered and mouse exited signals with custom signals that had that same name, and it broke my UI, and I was like, what is going on? And there was no indication anywhere that I had accidentally shadowed that event handler. So now I just have to make sure if I'm doing my own custom mouse entered and mouse exited signals that I do the hover entered and hover exited instead. So that's a little gotcha. Maybe that helps somebody out there. This on mouse entered, yeah. So emit signal hover exited. Tentacles I dot hover entered plus equals on tentacle hover entered index. Show enchant options, private void, int index. Oh, I guess I don't need that index. That's fine. Okay, is it going to work? Let's find out. Putting the text on the center of the screen, gotcha. And also, what about the icon, just the icon, have the text be a mouse over pop-up? That's an interesting idea. Align left, centered, and right for each tentacle respectively. Well, there's an interesting idea. That might work. I'm already deep in this one though. How do we feel about, I know the text is not aligned very well, but how do we feel about that showing up at the top instead now? The tentacles are tentacling, yes. Try to make my names as descriptive as possible. Yes, me too. Me too. Are you planning on doing any more pixel art tutorials or tips? The last one was really helpful for me to understand it all. I will probably do it at some point in the future. The thing is, I'm very reticent to go too deep into topics that I'm not necessarily an expert in. Like, I don't want to produce a bunch of pixel art tutorials when, you know, I just want to be sure that I know what I'm talking about before I produce a tutorial content. And so the reason why that pixel art tutorial was great is because I was able to share the basic tips that made me, having no art skill and going to decent pixel artist, you know, that was a real experience that I had, so I was able to share that. But I don't want to just like, yeah, just try to present myself as like a pixel art expert, because that's not what I am. So it's kind of hard for me to think of like what I would even include in a pixel art tutorial. What I was thinking about doing instead though, which maybe would help, is doing a time-lapse video of pixel art that I'm drawing and then adding commentary to it. So not necessarily doing instructional or tutorial content, but just kind of like explaining my thought process when I'm making a piece of art. And that could be helpful while simultaneously not being an explicit like tutorial or tip, you know what I mean? If it was central, then yes. Or did I already read that? I feel like I did. Like it, much more readable. I liked it too, yeah. Means your text cannot be too long. Well, it wraps. Oh, that's true. Yeah, if it goes on to a third line. Well, the thing is here now, I can actually change the size of this. I can make this like 128 instead. And then if we center it, now we're going to end up with the same problem though, which is that if I center it, this icon is going to be... Let's do this. Oh wait, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll center it like so. Move this up. I was just being dumb. Hold on. There we go. There we go. That should do it. Some of these maps are looking pretty good, honestly. Why does it not seem like it's big enough? Oh, I need to change the label minimum size as well. This doesn't need a... Well, let's see. Shoot. Adds whatever to the thing. Why does that still look off? It's the text wrapping, I think that's... Because it wraps to a new line. What does word smart do? Is there a way to justify this? If I could justify the text and force it to... No, that would probably look weird anyway. Shoot. I don't like text, man. What did you decide on the water thing for the tentacles? I'm still going to try to do that. Maybe on this stream, actually. Looks good, but we'll need to tell the player that they have to select a tentacle. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm still... I might just leave it, because the thing is the tentacles don't appear until you put a card in here. So I'm hoping that's clear enough, because that's how the rest of the encounters work too, is that you need to click on things. And I have another thing to ask you all, but I'm going to wait on that until we figure this out. How do you deal with the sound effects, music, and dialogues? Well, I don't have dialogue in any of my game. Well, that's not true. In Gunforge, there's like 2 quote-unquote cutscenes with some dialogue, but they're not like dialogue sounds or voice lines or anything. Yeah, that's a problem, Adam. I think you're exactly right. It's like neither approach is ideal. Like neither approach is going like make me go, ooh yeah, you know what I mean? I think the centered on the top is just better. I could put it down here too, center it down here. But I think it looks more balanced if it's at the top. I don't know. Maybe try it without the icon. Yeah. Center top makes more sense. Okay. I really like the time lapse and commentary idea. I think that would really help me grasp the steps that I'm making pixel art. Yeah. At this point, maybe put a text box. I'm not sure what you mean by text box. You mean something that's like has like an actual box design around it? I think centering the text in the screen give you less formatting headache and more design space. Yeah. The outline can appear periodically to make it seem clickable. When you hover over the tentacle, it would be just the same as it is now. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Oh wait, shoot. Oh no, that's fine. This is nuts. Okay. We're going to turn custom minimum size off, and we're going to turn wrapping off. And then what we're going to do is we are going to leave it up as a problem to future Firebelly if this text ends up getting too long. What in the heck? Are you kidding me? Oh, right. Okay. All right, whatever. Whatever. I was trying to get fancy and this just wasn't working. Trying to get fancy and it just wasn't working. Okay, we'll do this. I think the box around the text would give a better idea where what the center is. Oh, gotcha. Besides, many games like this just put hover tooltips in a box anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'm just going to hope that my descriptions for my enchantments don't get too long. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, so two more things to do really. Maybe some kind of water effect. Let's see. Some kind of water effect, but also I need your opinion on something, which is, I'll get into that in a second. There's a stylistic inconsistency here that I want to address. So if I look at something like the alchemy container, do you see how there's alchemy text here? This text tells you what you're currently doing, right? So this is alchemy. So my question for all of you is that, do I need to do a similar thing here and put like enchant there? That's going to obscure some of the... It's going to obscure some of the... art. But it might be necessary for stylistic purposes. You know what I mean? Would it make sense to use a rich text label and use BB code to embed the image next to the text? I don't think so. Because my problem is not with the image, my problem was like with the word wrapping. So imagine this says enchant instead of alchemy. Do you think that I need that there for stylistic consistency? It obscures a little bit of the art, but I think it's okay. What do you think? It makes you feel like Cthulhu is telling you what it does. That's true, yeah, telepathically. On top is cool. Okay, I'm glad we're okay with that. I think it's fine. Don't do any text and make the players guess what it does. I mean, I'm sure there will be opportunities for that in the game, yeah. Make a character for alchemy like an owl or something. That's true, yeah. Yeah, me too. But the problem is that it's stylistically inconsistent, like I said. So I'd have to remove all the text from the other screens or add text to this screen. Gotta go, gotta lock in. All right, iCode stuff, thanks for hanging out. Always fun. So are we thinking no text then? Because I have this here too, this upgrade. Why is that off center? Don't tell me that's broken for some reason. Oh, it's not. Okay. I think the alchemy text is going to go and replace it with a real alchemist. Yeah, maybe. Cthulhu is a stand-in for text. True. Isn't this thing supposed to be unusual by default? IDK, I think it fits without text. I mean, that's a good way of explaining it away, that's for sure. But I don't know if it's... I want it to match. I wanted them to be stylistically the same. No text makes it easier for localization. Why do you think I'm going to do localization? Oh, that's a whole different beast that I have not, I've not even thought about yet. Although I do think I know how I would localize the game if I ever did do that. Espanol players may love that. And I don't speak Spanish, yeah. It's China's half of Steam audience, so might as well. No text equals no need for localization. Well, I mean, I could get rid of the text in all of the screens. Would that look weird, though? Okay, well, it seems like everyone is agreeing with no text. So I'll delete that from here. So it's just a matter of figuring out what to do with the text of all the other things. Maybe I should just draw more decorations for the other screens. Maybe not necessarily characters, but just like little things to hide behind the board like this for all of them. And maybe that would just be better. That looks pretty cool, though, if I do say so myself. Okay. Uniqueness should not be sacrificed at the altar of consistency. Well, you're doing a really good job convincing me to not add text and do nothing else for the other ones. Although I do kind of like this style, though, of like having a character or some kind of drawing over the board. Probably won't be something that I do for the initial playtest of the game. But I do want everything to feel really consistent. And so the presence of text in some places and not in others does bother me a little bit, but it's not that big of an issue to warrant spending a whole lot of time on it at this point in development. So I'll just leave the text off of Cthulhu and we'll call it good. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to try to do some water particles, which I think I have an idea for how to do this. So I'm going to try it. Let's do 3 different 16 by 16. Okay. 1 second. I want to get some lunch coming my way. Icons only make a legend later. What if Cthulhu has the enchant text on his head and the tentacles could have chains and stuff, making it feel like something this powerful is being enslaved in the name of enchanting? That is a good idea. Chains on the tentacles. I think that'd be relatively easy to do as well. I may do that. Not right now, though. Not right now, though. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do just a couple of different lines. Like so. Particles lines.png. So here, well, let's just design it over here first. Particles, lines. It's getting quite late for me. I'm going to have to go. Can't wait to see how this will look next time. Well, sounds good, Nathan. Thank you for joining. Very much appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good to see you. Ooh, you know what I could do? I could actually limit the FPS on this. Anyway, so let's see. We got the texture in place. Let's add a new process material. I think this might work. I think this might work. Okay. Okay. Emission shape point is fine. Actually, let's do box extents. That'll work. Okay. Color initial ramp. Scale curve. New curve texture. Okay. That explosiveness is not going to work. Let's do lifetime randomness, maybe? No, I probably don't want to do lifetime randomness either. Let's turn up the lifetime. Okay. Water background. Then I'm going to do another one. I'm going to call this water mid-ground. I don't know if that's appropriate, but let's make this unique. Actually, I want to do make unique recursive. This color now needs to be that. And we're going to turn down the scale. Shoot, that may not actually work the way that I want it to. Let's do this. That. Okay. Water foreground. Make unique recursive, yes. Am I cooking or am I doing something absolutely ridiculous? We'll find out. What does this look like? Does that look like water at all? Oh, it's not randomizing the particle texture. Oops. It's not randomizing the texture. Max 1. Max 1. Okay. Did I cook or did I not? Time for Cthulhu bathwater. No. Hi, working on a Pico 8 project while listening to you in the background. Awesome. Dream Paradox, welcome. Thought you were going to do the ripple. Yeah, that's kind of a ripple, right? Kind of looks like a tentacle reflection too. Kind of looks like a tornado. Looks cool. Can I make it curvy? Well, I was thinking that what I would do is, let me turn down some of these. There's too many particles being emitted here. 30, let's do 15 and 5. I'm going to turn off the fixed FPS. What do you want, Sharima? Let's see. How does that look? Does that look all right? I think you need to pre-calculate. Yes, I do need to pre-calculate it. That was cute. What? Oh, my interaction with the cat, maybe? What's that for? This is supposed to be water. And if you're asking what it's for, then maybe I have not accomplished my goal of making it water. Pre-process. Let's do, well, the lifetime is 6 seconds. What if I just do a pre-process of 6? There we go. Why did that pre-process not work? So obviously this would look different because I would put it down here instead. Oops. Let's add all of these to a single node. It would be nice if I could just right click and like add a child node and have these automatically group under that. That would be a nice little extra thing. So just kind of put it under there to, why is that not appearing now? What in the world? It's just supposed to give the impression of like a water horizon. I think maybe my particles suck. Why is that not showing up? Hello? Oh. This probably needs to be a child of this control. That's probably what's happening. The pre-process is not working at all. Oh, it probably is working, but it's probably being pre-processed off screen and then it gets moved. So I think what I need to do is probably turn on local coordinates for this. Drawing, local coords on. That will probably fix it. Does that look like water at all or no? Looks all right. Let's put them under the tentacle to see. Might need a fourth. Oh my gosh. You might need a fourth layer for the brightest little sparkles. Oh, I see. 2D is much faster than 3D. Yes. Well, there's still some linear algebra involved in 2D as well. I get it, water. Yeah. Hi, I'm back. I died. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your death, but I'm glad that you're better now. Where are you using in this scene? Oh, yeah. I think I'm a little bit behind here. I thought it was for under each tentacle. Well, it could be for under each tentacle. If it's for atmosphere, I think it should be way wider and slower. Yeah, we can try that. What about using caustics instead for the water? I don't know what caustics are. I'm sure I know what they are. I don't know what that word means. Kind of looks like Cthulhu is a genie. That would be a kind of interesting mashup. Cthulhu genie. What about using a shader after you enchant or leave the enchant screen that washes away the screen? That's an interesting idea. I'm not going to do that. Sorry to shoot your idea down, but I have kind of like a consistent way that I'm fading things out that I'm just going to stick with for now. What does pre-process does? It just makes the particle simulation simulate for that many seconds when you add it to the tree, because by default, if you have a long-lived particle, it takes a while for it to get ramped up and to fill the screen with particles. But if you tell it, hey, pre-process for 6 seconds, then it renders at first as if it had already processed for 6 seconds. That makes sense. Let's make these wider. Sprite size, or let's do sprite canvas size. So I used 16. Let's double it. 32 times 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these thicker as well. That might not be much better, but let's see. Does it need to be even wider than that? Maybe this isn't going to work. Refraction in the water, gotcha. Just throwing them out there. No, I appreciate that, Yeet. I know I haven't been around in a very long time, but why is everything so dark? I can barely see the map. Is this a theme decision? Well, part of it might be your mobile device settings if you're watching on a mobile device. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see if your brightness isn't up, but on my monitor it looks just fine. But yeah, it is a theme decision, the color palette that's being used. I guess this water isn't working the way that I thought it was going to. What, Shurima? What do you want? Huh? I don't know what you want. What? You can't come in here just demanding something in a language I don't speak. Here's the other one. 2 for 2 cats. What's up? What do you want? Always have my phone's brightness at max and it looks fine to me. Yeah, I mean, I could pull up my stream right now on my phone and see how it looks because I don't usually run my screen on full brightness. Well, it could also be the YouTube compression to YouTube making it darker, but we'll see. Let's see. Can I access my current? Oh well. Shrima's tired of Zir getting all the attention, right? Cute. Good morning, Senzo. That's a cute dog, thank you. On the transition, make the water wave flow when the transition is over. Yeah. I'll have to do something like that, but I don't know. I don't think this looks good at all. I thought I was cooking, but it turns out I wasn't. I might just not do water effects, honestly. Because there's a point where it's like, I'm going to be adding too, like, there's going to be too much going on, you know? All right, so tell you what, here's what we're going to do. Delete the particles. We're not doing water. At least not right now. I'll give it another shot some other time. We're not doing particles. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix my map generation because I made them all do enchant. Oh, there is one more thing I need to do, which is I need to create a map icon for the enchantment. Right, I forgot about that. Caustic optics and see if you think they could fit. Caustic's optics. Oops, what am I doing? I'm getting lost in my windows. Oh, I see. Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know how I would replicate the caustics. The problem is I'm working with a limited color palette too, so it's not like I could just throw a caustic shader on it. It would have to be using all the colors of the palette. I think it will be good for the tentacles. What, the water or no water? Maybe make the water transparent. Hello, Matthias. I'm not using transparency at all in this game, so that's a stylistic constraint that I have. That's right, we're gonna cheat. Under the tentacles, it would look good. Water gets in a list of future problems for future belly, yes. Not to get all kinny as, but I don't like the water. It's okay, Adam. I don't like the water either. I don't like the water either. I don't know of a way to make the water work for this screen with the colors that I have. I'm sure it's doable. Honestly, if I was going to make water work, I think I'd have to go even more minimal. Probably use this dark purple color and just add a little bit of motion under, but very subtle. I think that's probably the direction that I'd need to go, rather than making it like bright and drawing attention to itself. I don't think that's going to work. So, you know what they say, we bail. So the map is back in working order now with its normal events and whatnot. Now this card has turn cooldown is reduced by 1 and it echoes. Nice. Let's alchemize it too. Bam. Bam. Oh, that could have been dangerous actually. Nope, it worked. Oh no, but I lost the echo. Wait, okay, so echo's still there. Oh, perfect. Let's do this one. So now I lost one of my enchants, but now I still have this card that does echo, and it's upgraded, so it's going to apply 2 poison. Perfect. Let's grab a booster. We'll grab a slime, why not? Increase board size. Nice. Another booster. Let's do another minion. Snake. That's not going to work. Let's do a scarab there. Let's put another one of those. Actually, you know what? I have a room for this guy, so let's put that guy there. Ooh, should I try this one? Villager 2, Arming Sword. This one seems easier. That text is not showing up correctly, but that's right. Boom. Oh yeah, I could have probably melted that other board actually. Okay, boss time. Let's see if I win against this boss. I think I might win against the boss actually, because this slime is going to reflect damage, which is going to be a huge help. Oh wait. Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, this resurrection screen needs to be redone as well. I'm actually not going to beat this. Okay, never mind. I was too confident. Yeah, it just eats through my health. Oh my goodness. Accept final death. Okay. Okay. Put map back. What does the palette look like? Oh, it's these colors here. Water is for the plants and soap is for the clothes, my guy. God wanted us to like water, he would have made us waterproof. Aren't we waterproof? Maybe not. Did I miss when we lowered the health globe for the player? Yeah, I was playing around with the positioning. That's not a permanent spot. I don't know what to do with the health globes. You do like it though when it's down that low? You planning on doing some kind of story to this or some kind of lore? Maybe. It's not, I mean, it's not in the plans right now. Who hanged my boy on the health globe? Yeah. Death. Seeing actual gameplay is cool. Yeah, it's been a while. There's a lot of work to do on the gameplay still, balance-wise and like stuff, but I think the gameplay loop is pretty fun. It's fun to run around the map and get your upgrades and then fight the various combat encounters and prep for the boss. The boss is a little bit overpowered, yeah. Can you arrange your attack board when things get dicey? So the current game is that once you start the combat with your board, that's it. You can't make any changes to it. I'm open to changing that. The problem that I'm trying to avoid though is I want to prevent the player from feeling like they have to maintain 2 different builds, right? So like you can imagine you load up on poison, you let all of your poison things go, and then you pause the game and you move all your cards into your inventory and then put in more raw damage stuff. And that's just a gameplay flow that I don't want to happen. To pause the game and rearrange your board and everything during the middle of combat is just going to be really tedious if that's the best way to play the game. So I'd much rather just, you can design your board and see how it performs. If you die, you get the opportunity to try again by sacrificing something. And also, when you retry the combat encounter, any damage that you did sticks to the enemy. So if you get the boss down to if you do 55% of the boss's health and damage, and you're dang, I just need to go again, you can resurrect, sacrifice a couple of cards, and then just run the combat again, and you'll basically be guaranteed to win. Now, it's not necessarily a guarantee, because when you add in crit chance and stuff like that, there's a potential that you get several lucky crits, and that makes you win immediately. Or it could be the case that you don't get any crits, right? So, but the idea is that like you should maximize your board, and you should be comfortable with your board configuration before you enter a combat encounter. And any tweaks that you make to your board during a combat encounter would have to happen after you've died and resurrected, if that makes sense. I like the idea of the player info being bottom left and the enemy info top right, so everything is in one line instead of bouncing up and down. Okay. Yeah. What will happen when you die back to the beginning? Yeah, so as you saw on that screen, you can resurrect by sacrificing something, and the sacrifice mechanic is still needs work. Or you can accept your final death, which ends the run. So really, you'd have to accept your final death if you don't have anything to sacrifice, if you can't resurrect. Do you get to see the boss board before it comes, though? No. And that's a good point. I can make that a thing, because what I still need is I need like yeah, I could potentially show the boss board to the player. Yeah, I'm gonna need to think about that. But anyway, that's going to be it for the stream today. What are lores? Yeah, no lore for this game yet. But that's it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your feedback. And this can be a relic ability. Yeah, that's true. A lot of work to do still on this game, but it's coming along. Again, development is slow because I'm working on my course primarily. But again, check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support my work. Hit the notification bell to be notified when new code review videos go live, and also to be notified when the new course is live. And yes, I do work off stream, but like I said, I'm doing course work right now, producing the new course. When I'm not producing a new course, yes, I will work on the game off stream. Or some bosses I didn't see can have some mystery. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, bye-bye.